Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, today we're going to be discussing what is happening in the opposition, because I know we've been having a lot of roundtables on the opposition, on what Mamata Banerjee is up to, what the Congress is doing or not doing. And of course, we've been talking a lot to Pawan Verma. So I would first like to welcome him and congratulate him on joining the TMC. We have Pawan Verma with us. We also have Ashutosh, he's the managing editor and the founder of satyahindi.com. And Rashid Kidwai is the author of 24 Akbar Road. But Pawan, really, it's been a while. I mean, we've been having these talks round and round, and you've been also bemoaning the lack of an opposition, effective opposition. Is that the reason why you joined Mamata Banerjee? And second, how would you counter the charge that Mamata Banerjee is actually weakening the opposition, not strengthening it?
To answer your question sequentially, and Priya, thank you for your kind words of felicitations. It's a political step. I do believe, firstly, that the country needs an effective opposition. Any democracy needs a robust opposition. In particular, if I may say, without sounding partisan, this regime needs a robust opposition. We have to explore how we provide it. And it is my assessment that currently we need to recreate the opposition without inviting the charge of weakening it. In other words, I am not here as a member of the TMC to weaken the opposition, but in fact to reinforce and strengthen it. Now you will ask what this means, because obviously there has been some overt acrimony between the Congress and the TMC. Congress is still the largest opposition party currently. And I would like to add that it is our assessment, and let me put it frankly so as to invite Ashutosh's rejoinder.
You knew where it's going to come from.
Let me say to you that we are not against the Congress. In fact, we are devoted to the original ideas, visions, ideals of the Congress party. We pay tribute to it being the original party which got us our freedom movement, whose stalwarts guided our nation in its formative years. Those ideals are enshrined in the Constitution, in the preamble. So we are not against the Congress. We feel that the current Congress, with its current leadership, is not playing its role effectively in order to counter the BJP and create that opposition. So our task, with great humility, without undermining the difficulties, is to create a new Congress, which we hope, in association with our allies, parties currently ranged against the BJP, will strengthen the opposition in an organized, strategic, effective, credible, and grassrooted manner.
I'm going to let Ashutosh come in, because also Ashutosh, I saw your interview with Sanjay Raut of the Shiv Sena, and he has, he's taken the opposite line from Mamata, saying that if the opposition needs to be strengthened, we can't do without the Congress. He's given his support to the Congress. You've seen the Sena tie up with the Congress as opposed to fighting against them in Goa and other states. So there are two ways the opposition is looking at the Congress, isn't it, Ashutosh?
Priya, not that I'm a great fan of Sanjay Raut or Shiv Sena for any reasons, though I have been a great fan of Mamata Banerjee and Pawanji with great respect and great regard. I beg to differ with him for three simple reasons.
Use the past tense, but Pawan.
No. With Pawanji, it's a different and cordial relationship. I have a tremendous respect for him. But today I would like to say that this entire exercise by Mamata Banerjee and Trinamool Congress is short-sighted. It's parochialism. And it's a kind of lack of sense of history, for the simple reason, because if what Pawanji has said and what Trinamool Congress intend to make is recreating a Congress party, I think that's something impossibility which needs at least 30 years, not less than 30 years. If you remember, the Congress was born in 1885 and it became a mass movement in 1915 when the Gandhi took the reins of the Congress party. Not that the Congress party was ineffective before that. Even the Bharatiya Janata Party, it also took almost 60-70 years to become where they are today. And I'll say that till 1991, Congress Bharatiya Janata Party was nowhere. To recreating a Congress, it's divide of the ground understanding of Indian politics. First of all, the second point which I want to make is that it's very heartening to say that the TMC say that it doesn't want to have any kind of problem with the Congress party, but the entire exercise on the ground is something which is not only weakening the Congress party, but it is an attempt to wreck Congress party from within. The kind of money which has been flowed, which is flowing into the Goa elections. You talk to anybody in the Goa and you'll get to know the kind of money which has been thrown over there, the kind of money which has been given over there, that smacks up something else. So Pawanji might be theoretically or on a different plane, but his party on the ground is practically on a different plane altogether. Thirdly, I think to create a robust opposition, you don't need to weaken Congress party. I can understand that Rahul Gandhi and the Priyanka Gandhi might not be working with the vehemence which is required right now, but a close coordination, a kind of situation should have been forced, which could force them. Though I do not buy their argument that Rahul Gandhi and the Priyanka Gandhi is not working on the ground. I think they are working on the ground, and they are working in the right directions. The kind of action they are taken in Punjab by removing Amrinder Singh and putting Charan Singh Channi over there, the 32% Dalit votes in UP. If you see the kind of manifesto which has been created by Priyanka Gandhi for the women, I think that though that manifesto is revolutionary in many ways. I'm not a great fan of Rahul Gandhi, or Priyanka Gandhi, but you have to acknowledge that the Congress to emerge in UP, Congress to emerge in Bihar, it requires at least 10 years, not just it will not happen in a year's time. So to say that the Congress is not working as a robust opposition, I can understand that. But Mamata Banerjee, what should have done, should have forced Congress party to create a kind of a larger anti-Modi or anti-BJP platform. Instead of that, Trinamool Congress is wrecking Congress party from within.
How does Mamata Banerjee force the Congress even Rahul's leadership?
हम हैं मुश्ताक और वो बेजार, या इलाही ये माजरा क्या है? अरे भाई, forced Congress party to create a bigger alliance if only the constituents of this larger alliance have the trust on Ashutosh's current favorite leaders. The simple point is that how much longer can the nation wait for the Congress to wake up, to reinvent itself, to effectively take on the opposition? And if it is not playing that role, and any objective assessment will show you that, is it the ordained right of a particular leadership and the party as they have constituted to lead the opposition, or in a democratic space it can be challenged? That is the question. And to challenge it, not to weaken the opposition. Ashutosh is saying it will take 10 years, 20 years to recreate the Congress. I am saying to you publicly on your channel, the bulk of the Congress, tired after years of being in drift and inadequate leadership, will move to a more effective version of the Congress.
Let me quickly get Rashid, and then I know Ashutosh also wants to reply. But Rashid, where do you stand in this?
So Priya, I think here, like at one level, all non-NDA parties are wrong and right. So it's a bit of a paradox. See, it said it's take two to tango, but here, it's not a tango. You need a full, orchestra band, where everything has to be in alignment in order to make it really, musical and pleasant to the ear and to the audience. And that is not happening. And that is where I have written also, there is a lot of, psychological distance between, sort of non-NDA parties, particularly like-minded parties like Ambassador Verma was describing, the Congress and TMC and this Shiv Sena and Congress. See, there is a lot of inexperience on the part of Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi also in handling this. They are missing a person like Ahmed Patel who could do some kind of background this thing. What Gandhi is perhaps resent in Trinamool's case, that they are seeking. You see, if you seek anything in the Congress, it's considered as it's their work culture. So what what this Sanjay Raut is doing is they feel is perhaps a more appropriate way. They're coming and pleading to Sonia Gandhi to come up, and in Sonia, in her wisdom, can appoint Mamta as convener, Sharad Pawar as some kind of role. So that's the thing. So there is a work culture kind of difference, and Trinamool is on the high. So they have won Bengal. They are a lot of people, including country's minorities, are looking up to them. So what I'm saying is, I think Trinamool is doing some kind of service to the Congress by giving some kind of wake-up call. Priya, for once, I don't think it's a like a breakdown of anything. I think it's the beginning of a lot of things. These are all postures and pressure tactics that are being applied. We should not read much into it. What's being said, even on the part of Mamata Banerjee and Surjewala and Bhupesh Baghel and others, you will see in March 2022, after five assembly elections, a kind of new beginning would be made. But I think Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, they need to involve these people, and they want to. It's just that they do not know the mechanism.
Ashutosh, do you think that this is just a churn that is happening really? The final shape of the opposition is still to come?
No.
The divides are there.
I think Mamata Banerjee is doing a great disservice to the nation. And for the simple reason that if they wanted an opposition to unite, first of all, the Mamata Banerjee should have coordinated with all the opposition chief ministers and the major political parties from Stalin to Jagan Reddy. They should have created some kind of federal front, and then this federal front should have coordinated with the Congress party. And I think that the Sanjay Raut in my interview has very clearly said that Rahul Gandhi is open to that. The issue is not that who will lead this opposition, and I'm that's why I sent that interview to you. And Sanjay Raut very categorical on that, and that Rahul Gandhi told him that there is no question of that who will lead. It can anybody lead, but the crisis is bigger. My point is, Mamata Banerjee, instead of creating a kind of federal front and coordinating with the Congress party in the longer run, as it happened in 1988 and 1989, when N.T. Ramarao, Devi Lal, and then Hegde, and all these people, they came together. And then they created a kind of a national front. And then they forced, at that point in time, the big opposition party like Left and the BJP to create a kind of some understanding with them. And finally, it emerged as a major political force vis-a-vis Congress party, which was unthinkable at that point of time. Instead of doing that, has Mamata Banerjee has done any kind of conclave with KCR, with Jagan Mohan Reddy, with Stalin, with Sharad Pawar, with Shiv Sena and other political, and JDS and Naveen Patnaik? No. Mamata Banerjee, instead of that, has gone hunting the Congress leader. Who are these Congress? They are a spent force. Can you imagine? I'm not going to take anybody's name, but the G23 is what? G23 is a spent force. The Congress is in limbo. Congress has become what it is. It is because the people like in G23. They are parasites. They are darbaris. Can anybody go in Himachal Pradesh and win elections? The Congress party in Himachal Pradesh is leaderless. But the so-called top leader here in Delhi can't win a single assembly election over there. Can anybody else do that? No, they can't. But the fact is that today it has become fashionable to beat Congress. Yes, go and do that. But first of all, Mamata Banerjee has great potential. I think she is on the right ideological plank. But to create a larger opposition, you have to first take all the opposition leaders on the same plank and then move ahead. Instead of doing that, you are wrecking the Congress party. Can Mamata emerge as a challenger in Rajasthan to BJP, in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, in Karnataka, in Gujarat, in Punjab, in Haryana, and all these places? No, they can't.
Okay.
So what is the point in weakening Congress party over there?
Good point. Rashid, quickly, then I'll get...
sorry, I'll just take 1 minute. I think Ashutosh is reading this political situation in a rather exaggerated way. Nobody's saying that Mamata is going to be there in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, etc. The key point is when he says that Rahul Gandhi is open to this leadership issue. This is the same problem. Whenever Priya, me, you, and all of us know, he says the same thing about the Congress leadership also, that he's open to it. But open to means what? From May 2019, everything is in limbo. The problem, I'm saying in a more practical term, maybe I'm unlike this, kind of theoretical theoreticians like Mr. Ashutosh and Mr. Pawan Verma. I look at things more in black and white. How do you approach Rahul Gandhi? Which is the door that you knock? That's why I'm saying that if it was Ahmed Patel, then a lot of things could happen behind the scene. Nothing is happening. Rahul may be the most democratic person, but fact of the matter is that in Congress, it is just becoming Rahul Gandhi and then to Sonia Gandhi, and everything seems to be in limbo. So there is no engagement and there is no mechanism. And therefore, all those people who have a misgiving, they have a point.
And we have Pawan Verma here representing one side.
Yes, no, I heard Rashid Bhai and Ashutosh very carefully. I think first premise of Ashutosh is flawed because he's probably not aware of the details. Mamata Banerjee has had a meeting with Sharad Pawar. It's not as if she's fueled by an irrational, single-pointed goal of destroying the Congress, which is far from the truth. She has met with Sharad Pawar. She has talked with DMK. Jagan is a natural ally as one of the breakaway factions from the Congress. KCR's principal opponent is the BJP, not the Congress today. So obviously he will be part of the larger anti-BJP alliance. Naveen Patnaik's Orissa, we are carefully studying and have a state-specific plan for it. Let me answer the questions point by point. The second point is, Ashutosh labors under a misapprehension that Mamata Banerjee, for some reason embedded in her unknown past, is attacking the Congress. You must provide evidence for that. Why we seem to be attacking the Congress, and this is important, is there are 250 seats at least in the country where the current Congress is in a direct context with the BJP. If the BJP strike rate against the current Congress with its present leadership, for reasons which Ashutosh should analyze, is 96%, how can you defeat the BJP? So, you can go into a mudra of meditation before a statue of the deity and say, Congress, we will wait until it reinvents itself. Or you can say that if it is not performing the role it needs to do, somebody will take its place, and when that place is taken, either parts of the Congress will be cannibalized or the Congress territory will be somewhat encroached upon so that another entity can more effectively take on the BJP. So Ashutosh reduces it to some kind of petty personal fight. It is not a petty personal fight, but based on an objective analysis of what the situation is. Arithmetical unity means nothing. Photo ops on stages mean nothing. You have to have a dynamic opposition unity with a central critical mass that can take on the BJP in seats where it is pitted against it directly, and another concentric circle of allies who are also in the anti-BJP camp. We need to think out of the box rather than repeat what used to happen in the past and be mesmerized by it.
Yeah. See, I think Pawanji is more of a theoretical person, and I think he's a very simple-hearted person. And so
he's put his money where his beliefs are. He's joined the TMC.
We did a discussion. He wrote something in Times of India, and that is exactly seems to be happening now. So I don't think labeling him as a theoretician is appropriate now.
No. I'm saying he's an idealist. He's a theoretician. I know that. But the politics on the ground is very different, and I can speak because I had work on the ground as a political person, so I know how the dynamics works over there. First of all, if he's saying the reinvent a new opposition, can a new opposition emerge within 2 years' time in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, and all these places where they will be in a position to defeat BJP left, right, and center? Is it a possibility? First of all, it's an impossibility. Rather, it will make BJP very, very happy. The point number two, I am a great fan of Mamata Banerjee, but I also know that Mamata Banerjee and one of his advisors has been with BJP for a very, very long time. Their ideological commitment is porous. They can't be trusted in that sense. So Mamata
Mamata
Banerjee,
can't
if
be
Mamata
trusted to
Banerjee
guide
has
the
to
BJP,
spell out
who do we
that
trust,
no,
I
sir,
suppose?
Mamata
No, sir.
Mamata Banerjee has to spell out whether she believed RSS became anti-India in 1998 or in 2014. And one of his advisors in 2014 was rebuilding India, helping Modi. And today the same person is saying that Modi is the most dangerous thing for the country. These two words cannot exist together. That shows that Pawan Verma is in a different plane, but his party, his leadership is on a different plane altogether. So RSS did not change, BJP did not change, Modi did not change, Lal Kesh Advani, Atal Bihari did not change. It is Mamata Banerjee which changed. So Mamata
Maybe
Banerjee
it's
has
a
to
change for
spell
the
out
better.
where
Everybody's
does she
allowed to change,
stand.
Ashutosh.
No, these are opportunist politics. It's as simple. It's opportunistic politics, as simple.
The ultimate accusation then is that except for Rahul Gandhi, all the entire political spectrum is opportunist, because at some point or the other they have allied with people with whom they are current opponents. So if the Samajwadis, the great socialist lineage, could align with the BJP at one time and denounce them subsequently, I think in politics the BJP of Atal Bihari Vajpayee was different, but Ashutosh still has a very high threshold to judge fealty and loyalty to ideals. Perhaps it will be too much in time in your program to mention some of the current Congress's U-turns on this regard, but I will leave it at that. The point I really wish to make is, ultimately, if the charge is that Mamata Banerjee is not serious about fighting the BJP in spite of the West Bengal Assembly elections, and tomorrow she will go and make a pact with Narendra Modi, I have no answer. I can only recall Ghalib, रगों में दौड़ते फिरने के हम नहीं कायल, जब आंख ही से न टपका तो फिर लहू क्या है. तो अब मैं इसका तो प्रूफ दे नहीं सकता आपको. अगर आपको कन्विंस्ड है कि वो अपॉर्चुनिस्ट है, तो आप इस पर यकीन रखिए. I want to tell you that she believes that this particular avatar of the BJP narrative needs to be fought resolutely, and she will take that fight further. If you doubt ab initio her commitment to do so, you are welcome to it. Frankly, I believe it is probably very, very inaccurate.
Actually, the other point that Ashutosh raised also is something. Pawan, sorry, you finished speaking? Rashid, the other point that Ashutosh raised is about Madhya Pradesh and others, Rajasthan. How will Mamata expand over there? And is she falling into the Arvind Kejriwal trap? So they are going to be. I hope there was no pun on the word when he said there's a pilot project in Meghalaya. So are they going to move Congress chunk by chunk in every state?
See, Priya, Congress is having a lot of internal problem. There is no doubt about it. But as I said, as far as the states that you mentioned about Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, etc., I think whatever Mamata Banerjee or her, fellow party persons are saying, this is just a posture. This is like some kind of threat, some kind of pressure tactics. The key point here is, I think Ashutosh is looking things in a theoretical way, because how do you explain if we are talking about the right-wing leanings, etc., of other political parties? First of all, everyone has a right to learn and live. See, as Mulayam Singh had once told me, कि हृदय परिवर्तन का अधिकार केवल आचार्य वाल्मीकि और विनोबा भावे को था. Everyone has a right to, kind of fine-tune political thinking. The third thing is, how do you explain Congress alliance with Shiv Sena and the in-house Congress people? There is no dearth of Congress people who are many times more right-wing than what we talk about the BJP and other political parties. And there is a whole history of it. As Mr. Pawan Verma was saying, you can just go on talking about it. So all these things are there. I think this is war of attrition that we are watching today or seeing today. These things will settle down. The verdict in early March will be such that it will actually settle a lot of these issues. and then there will be some kind of beginning because both sides will see reason. But this is exactly what Ashutosh is saying is Rahul Gandhi's problem. He thinks he is, so this thing about being, I am right and others are wrong, even if it's true, it is a bit naive and apolitical.
Okay. On that note, quickly, Ashutosh, you want to come in once, very short. If it is a very provocative one, I'll call you again for another show.
See, Priya, I think it is the sad part and the tragic part of Indian political system is the non-understanding of Indian political leaders about the RSS and its ideology. The mistake which was made by Ram Manohar Lohia, Jayaprakash Narayan and others is country suffering today. It is Ram Manohar Lohia in 1967 cobbled together, including Jaising, and gave the respectability. No, let me complete. It gave the respectability. In JP, who said if the RSS is fascist, I am also fascist. If they had understood that what is the core fabric of the RSS, today socialist parties would have been the main opposition parties, would have been with more than 300 seats in 2014 instead of RSS. But all of them cobbled together, and the similar mistake Mamata Banerjee is doing, and the country will suffer. Mark my word, I'm saying. I'm putting my neck out. Mark my word.
Congress allies with Shiv Sena?
The
Congress is also aligned with Sena and all, Ashutosh. So, Pawan, quickly, last word.
I'm saying. See, if Mamata Banerjee, after the demolition of Babri Masjid, could go to Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Lalkesh Advani, then she can do anything. Tomorrow she can form a government with support, can help support Modi to form the government.
Pawan?
All I want to say is Ashutosh's misgivings on this score can be easily seen. Give me a year's time to see whether Mamata is effectively moving against the BJP and the RSS or progressively aligning herself with them as per his theory. You will see, time will tell you. I think Rashid put it very brilliantly that people in glass houses should not throw stones. So the sense of great purity that some leaders in the Congress talk about, after their alliance with Shiv Sena, I mean, it's quite remarkable how they can even posit it. But I don't want to go there. I just want to say to you, it is my belief, it is based on a recent experience of a track record where 2024 will be a fight between Mamata versus Modi. And forces will be aligned on this axis accordingly.
Okay. That's a pretty comprehensive way to end this note to end the show. We'll see where it goes. Rashid, of course, is the optimist over here. But on that note, thank you all for coming for this discussion, and thank you for watching this show.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.